Shalom, shalom, Most High in Christ bless. Welcome to the program, family. Welcome to the program. I hope thus far we have been having a wonderful week and all is well with each and every one of us in the body. All praises. And so, yes, tonight, as you know, we have been out of sync for a bit. As I've been dealing with some things and other things came up, but that's just life. This is the life that we live. We are only human, earthly beings in a carnal flesh that holds the righteous spirit of the Most High God. All praises. And so things will come about that will dismay us, keep us from, the duty of our calling. But we must press on, brothers and sisters. We must press on, saints, and be mindful of the work, of putting in this work. Just as I say, the heart is willing, but the body is weak. The heart is willing, but the body is weak. But yet, this too shall pass. We have to do what we have to do in order to edify, like I say, the body and bring praise and glory to the Most High. And so tonight we're going to have a short little class, maybe half hour, and as many of you can see, tonight's topic is godly, righteous marriage. Godly, righteous marriage. And what does that mean for most of us? Well, a lot of us, we get married to our significant other. Most times it is our significant other, as we so like to describe. And again, most times it is that we marry. Some of us, we marry for convenience. Some of us, we marry for pleasure. Some of us, we marry for vanity. Some of us, we marry for security. All praises. So there are many reasons why one would get married. Okay? And so whatever the reason that you, whatever the reason that I, whatever the reason that they choose to marry, it always most definitely falls into one of those categories that I just described. But in Israel, as chosen saints of the Most High, we subscribe and live by the tenets of the laws, the statutes, the commandments of the Most High. And so we are honor bound to make, uphold, and live in godly, righteous marriages. All praises, we are honor bound to live in godly, righteous marriages. And what does that mean? First off, let's go to our friendly neighborhood, Google. Google loves to give us information which pertains to what Esau has uploaded and feels like it's the correct term of every word. I mean, it is because they create the words, well, most words, and they create the meanings for society and the world at large. So let's look up the word marriage and let's read and see what it says. So as I Google marriage, it says a legal and social sanctioned union, usually between a man and a woman, that is regulated by laws, rules, customs, beliefs, and attitudes that prescribe the rights and duties of the partners and accords status to their offspring, if any. All praises. So that is the Google meaning of marriage. Okay? So again, that is the Google meaning of marriage. And it goes on and says marriage, also called matrimony or wedlock, is a culturally and often legally recognized union between people called spouses. It establishes rights and obligations between them, as well as between them and their children, and between them and their in laws. Well, all right. So, there again, Google has the insightful knowledge, meanings, and terms as to what this world categorizes as marriage. Okay? So that's the Google definition. And so, again, as I was saying, we who are Hebrew Israelites who walk in this truth and partake, as I said, in the traditions and the tenets of Israel, we have a spiritual understanding of what marriage is. Okay? A spiritual understanding of what marriage is. All praises. And so we're supposed to adhere to that. By all means, we're supposed to adhere to that. Okay? Let's look at, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. All right, let's go, Bible. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Why is this thing acting up? Okay. So let's read. We'll start from verse 1. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. And let's read verse 1. And it says, Now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. All praises. That is the Apostle Paul that is writing to the Corinthians. All right, let's read that again. It says, Now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Why? Okay, well, for the Apostle Paul, he says that because he was a eunuch, he felt it more expedient, more right, not to have women because he saw it as a distraction to his service. Okay? Because we all know his duty, his calling. And so for him to be without a sister, to be without a wife, was a better thing because it allowed him to focus more in the way that he lived. Because remember, he was a traveler and always imprisoned, always being persecuted, always hunted. So he felt being single was a good thing in the service of his duty. All praises. So let's not get confused with what this brother was talking about. Okay? So verse 2 says, Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Okay? That is the law of marriage in the kingdom and in the nation of Israel. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Meaning what? Every brother, if he so chooses, should take a wife. All praises. See what it says? Have his own wife. So he should take a wife. Same wise, every sister who so chooses should have her own husband, a husband. Okay? This is the organization and the way that it's supposed to be. In Israel, a wife, a husband. All praises. Verse 3, and it says, let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. Okay? And what does that describe? When you hear due benevolence, it means as it is supposed to be, spiritually, righteously. You afford her the due respect and accordance of how the Most High has it set up. She is your wife. She is your helpmate. You're supposed to love her, treasure her, appreciate her, and treat her as something valuable. All praises. And likewise, sisters, treat your husbands with due benevolence, meaning the way the Most High has it set up spiritually. You love him, you tend to him, you be his helpmate. Help him in all facets and all manner that it requires, because he is your strength and you are his help. Okay, at times he may falter, at times he may fall weak, at times he may come short. It is your duty in this kingdom, in this walk, in the eyes of the Most High God. It is your duty to help him. That's why it says you are his helpmate. It is your duty to love him, to respect him, to make him feel appreciated. All praises. That is the due benevolence of the husband and the due benevolence of the wife. All praises. So that is what we have to remember. Right? So let's go down to verse, what do I want? Verse 10. Let's go down to verse 10. Now let's see what it says there. And it reads, and unto the married I command. See what it says? Unto the married I command. So these are the laws that Israel as a nation has, that we must obey and follow. Okay? Because remember, Apostle Paul was one of the founders in the early church. And so being so, he and the other brethren would have come to agreements to further the laws and traditions that Moses and the council would have founded back in the day. Okay, so here we see the Apostle Paul says, and unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord. You see? Because remember, the inspiration for us came through him, from Jesus the Christ himself. That's why he said, yet not I. Okay? All praises, but the Lord. And he goes on to say, let not the wife depart from the husband. Okay? Let not the wife depart from the husband. Meaning what? You're supposed to be honorable, faithful, virtuous. Okay? Let not the wife depart from the husband. If you marry the brother and the brother turn out to be useless, good for nothing, that's no grounds to kick the brother to the curb. He may not be good with finances. He may not be good with the job that he chooses. Okay? But you can't just pick and find fault with the brother because you looking to live a luxurious, lavish life. No, that's wrong. You can't pick and find fault with the brother if he don't like the way you cook. No, that is wrong. All right? You can't up and leave the brother because maybe, he had to sell your favorite car. No, that is wrong. That's why he says here, all praises, let not the wife depart from her husband. You're supposed to stick by that brother to all things, through the good, through the bad, through sickness, through health, through death. That's the only way. Because if you and a brother join together and all you're doing is bickering and frustrating that brother, all you're doing is belittling him, putting him down, making him feel like less than what he is or what he's supposed to be, then you're wrong. Because remember what it says back earlier, in due benevolence. You're supposed to uplift him, be his strength, his help, not like the rest of the world, looking at him as nothing, breaking him down. Remember, he's your covering, he's your strength, he is your leader, your head. So you're supposed to make him look good, make him stand righteous. All praises. That is your duty. Through the good and through the bad. That is your duty. All right? Let's move on. Verse 11. It says, but and if she depart, let her remain unmarried. There you go. Let her remain unmarried. Why? Because of the traditions and the laws. You cannot just leave from your husband because you so choose to. No, it's not righteous. It is not permitted and it is not right. Just as I said, if the brother is lacking in something, you're supposed to, boom, step in and try to help that brother. Try to, whatever it is, if it's a few dollars that, he doesn't have the correct job that you feel he should have, to stabilize you guys financially, find a way to help the brother. I'm not saying if he doesn't want you to go out and work, then, that's on you and him. But it should not impose anything to the fact that causes you to leave your marriage. Whatever the situation, you're supposed to work through it. Now, there are some situations now, mind you, sisters, I'm not saying to allow things to cause you to suffer or to be abused. But what I'm saying, the simple things that you and he can work through, you should give it all of your effort to try to work it out. All praises. And verse 11 goes on, it says, or be reconciled to her husband. You see, if you jump up in a fit of rage or passion and you leave him for no good reason, see what it says? Or be reconciled to her husband, because you're supposed to remain unmarried. Can't leave your husband and go and marry someone else. That is not righteous. That's not godly. Okay? That is not righteous. That is not godly. So it says, or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put his wife away. Okay? Same thing. Your husband should not be picking at everything you do. If you can't cook properly to his liking, he shouldn't abuse you for that. He should not insult you for that. He should say to you, well, hon, I appreciate the effort that you put into trying to provide a dinner for myself or for our family. But throughout all your effort, it is not turning out to the liking of me, your husband, or us, your family. And you should try to help her. Because we have lots of brothers out there who can cook, but we have lots of sisters out there who can't cook. So more so, if brother, you have a taste for a certain type of diet, then you should let the sister know. Same way, if the sister is lacking at home, if she stays at home, let her know what the issues are. Don't abuse the sister. Don't throw her out of the house. No, that is not godly. That is not righteous. Okay, you see what it says in verse 10? Let not the wife depart from her husband. All right? Let not the wife depart from her husband. All right? And it says, but if she depart, let her remain unmarried or reconcile to her husband. And it says, and let not the husband put away the wife. The world has gone crazy when it comes to marriage. Because why? It is not godly, it is not righteous, it is not ordained, and it is not holy. Our brothers and sisters are getting joined just for the same reasons as I said. Okay? For carnal reasons. Security, finances, convenience, lust, and all other type of things which evokes feelings and emotions in us which cause us to make the wrong decisions. Sisters, if you are to get married, marry a righteous brother who can love you in righteousness and subscribes to the tenets and traditions of the Hebrew Israelite way. Same as you brothers, choose a righteous sister, virtuous, loving, comely, all praises, who seeks to be your strength, to be your help, to keep a good home, to rear and take care of the children. Do not lust after the flesh. Do not lust after the vanity. We let fornication take over our mind, take over our spirit, take over our body, and we go out there and we throw away a good, righteous union that the Most High had ordained for us. Why? Because we see a sister out there who appeals to our eye. And we forget that beautiful, righteous, virtuous woman that we have home, who we promise to be faithful to love. Okay? That is so many of us. And I'm not talking about the brothers who are not even in this truth. I'm talking about the brothers that are in this truth. Because a lot of them, they, like as I say, they just come into this truth just to find sisters, to abuse, to use, and kick to the curb. And that's not godly, that's not righteous. You're making whores out of our sisters. That's what you're doing. All praises, that is what you're doing, making whores out of our sisters. Okay? So verse 12, it says, but to the rest speak I, not the Lord. You see again? It says, to the rest speak I, not the Lord. If any brother hath a wife that believeth not, and this is important, saints, this is important, brothers and sisters. It says, if any brother hath a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. All praises. It says, let him not put her away. So that's telling you, if you're in this truth as a brother, and you have a wife that does not believe, meaning you don't go out and pick up a woman or a sister that's not in this truth. It says, if you are in this truth, meaning if you come into this truth, if you wake up, you accept the Hebrew Israelite way and life, but you have a wife that is not in this truth and does not subscribe to the Hebrew Israelite way, you see what it says? And she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. Meaning if she accepts what you stand for, and she wants to honor that, to stick by her husband, and to love him, it says, let him not put her away. Because we have a lot of brothers, like I say, they let their mind and emotions rule them. They do not stay in the spirit and do things godly and righteously. That sister has done nothing wrong, although you came into the truth. She has done nothing wrong. Why are you going to put the sister away because she has not chosen to walk and wake up in this truth yet? You have to do the righteous thing. That is your wife. Do not put her away. All praises. So verse 13, and it says, and the woman which hath a husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. Again, same wise. Sisters, do not go out and marry these brothers who are not in the truth. That is not what this is telling you. Do not go out and marry these brothers that are not in the truth. It says, or it's telling you, if you wake up in this truth and you choose to walk this Israelite way as a Hebrew Israelite sister, following the laws, the statutes, the commandments, and obeying the marriage laws, and you have a husband that isn't walking in these statutes, judgments, commandments, that does not subscribe to the Hebrew Israelite way, don't put him away. Because if he wants to remain with you as his wife, even though he is not understanding, you can guide him. That is a part of your duty as a helpmate. Guide him, teach him, show him. This is what it's supposed to be. All praises. So it says to dwell with her, let her not leave him. So that is a commandment, a law. Okay, it's a law. So let's look at verse 14. Now it says, for the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. All praises. You see? That's why he said not to put them away. Because you are their blessing. All right? Because at any time, at any point, through you being the righteous, godly person that you're supposed to be in your marriage, you can lead that brother or that sister into this truth. You cannot convict their spirit, you cannot change them, but you can lead them into this truth by waking them up, showing them scriptures, showing them the righteous acts, letting them know, thus said the Lord, these are the laws of marriage in Israel. This is how I'm supposed to act. This is what you're supposed to do. So that's why you see the brother comes back and say, for the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now are they holy. All praises. You see? So you being with your husband, even though he is not in this truth, you sanctify your marriage. You being with your wife, even though she is not in this truth, you sanctify your marriage. All praises. You sanctify that union because you bring the spirit of the Most High God in there. You bring the laws, the statutes, the judgment, the commandments in there. You bring your righteousness in there. All praises. And so you show your spouse, this is how it's supposed to be. This is what it says. This is what the Most High says. All praises. So verse 15 says, but if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. A brother or a sister not under bondage in such cases, but the Most High God hath called us to peace. You see that? So that is strong advice, especially for our sisters out there. If you are with a brother and you are walking in this truth, in this Hebrew Israelite way, and you say to this brother who is your husband, I love you, I respect you, but I have chosen to walk in the circumspect way, in the righteous way, in the tenets of the Hebrew Israelite way, which tells me that I'm supposed to honor you, love you, respect you, and help you. But if you cannot honor, love, respect me as the laws and the Most High God dictates that is supposed to be, then there's a problem. You're supposed to talk and let them know. That's why it comes here and says that. But if the unbelieving depart, because they cannot put up with what you told them it is supposed to be, if they cannot put up with it, it says, if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. Let him go, sisters. Let her go, brothers. Because they're only going to be a hindrance to you in this walk, in this life. Don't put them away for pettiness, but if they choose to leave, let them go. Because they're going to be a stain on you, a trial, temptation to lead you to unrighteousness, to lead you to commit sin. Okay? So it says, a brother or sister is not under bondage in such cases, meaning you can't force them to stay with you. You cannot force them to come into this truth. You cannot force them to live in this Hebrew Israelite way. They are not under bondage in such cases. If they want to leave because they cannot abide in this truth, then let them go. All praises. Do not cause them to cause you to walk away from your faith, from your belief, from this truth. That is one of the greatest problems we have in Israel. Because our brothers and more so our sisters, they refuse to let these wicked brothers go. Let them go. Yes, the time may get rough, the time may get tough, you may feel lonely, but you have a friend that's sticking closer than a brother. Okay? Let them go. And if he wants to do the right thing, he would divorce you amicably, and you find yourself a righteous brother. Same with you, brothers. Let her go. And if she wanted to do the right thing, she would divorce you, and you find yourself a righteous sister. All praises. We cannot allow these unrighteous, wicked husbands or wives to cause us to falter, to fall, because we feel like we're in love. We feel dependent. We feel insecure. Or they have the money. Or they're good in bed. Or they're beautiful. That is not righteous. That is not godly. That is not how or what a marriage in the eyes of the Most High God is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about a husband loving a wife because it is a commandment from the Most High God. You're supposed to cherish her, respect her, honor her, treat her like you would treat yourself, even your mother, even your sister. All praises. And the same with you sisters. When you marry a brother, you're supposed to honor him, treasure him, love him, respect him, treat him like the king that he is. Be his strength, his help. That is the godly, righteous marriage. Not about the money, not about the sex, not about the lust, not about the fornication, not about the security, not about the finances, not even about the children. Because if you and your husband cannot agree or get along, there's always going to be constant derision and problems in your marriage. And it's going to affect your children, and it's going to affect you, whoever is the amicable party or the one maintaining the laws, the standards, and the spiritual righteousness that the godly marriage so requires. So let them go. All praises, let them go. Verse 16 says, "For what knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband? Or how knowest thou, O man, whether thou shalt save thy wife?" All right? How do you know? That's what it's telling you. Even though you feel like you love that person, you feel like you can bring them into this truth. How? How do you know? How can you? How can you? Because that's why it says, if the unbelieving depart, there's nothing you can do. There is nothing you can do. Because if they want to go, let them go. If you've been living the righteous life, treating them the way they're supposed to be treated in the godly, righteous marriage, and they cannot accept this truth in the way that you live it, and show it to them and say, thus saith the Lord, and show them the scripture, they can't take it, let them go. All praises. Yes, let them go. Because remember what it says. A marriage is supposed to be honorable. Honorable. So if your husband doesn't honor you, cherish you, and respect you, let him go. If your wife doesn't respect you, honor you, let her go. All right? Let them go. Let's look at that. Let's go to Hebrews 13. Hebrews 13. And let's get a look at that. Hebrews chapter 13. What do I want? Hebrews 13 says, let brotherly love continue, do not forget to entertain. Verse 4. Hebrews 13, verse 4, it says, marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. You see? This is what I'm talking about again. Marriage is honorable in all, meaning no matter whatever the situation, the husband is a whoremonger, your wife is an adulteress, you're supposed to still remain honorable to them, respectful, love them. All praises. That is your duty. That is your duty. Because why? It's not up to you to judge them. It's not up to you to persecute them. It's not up to you to get revenge on them. Because it says, and the bed is undefiled, meaning whatever that husband or that wife does, whether they sleep out, whether they cheat on you, whatever, whether they're giving their body away to somebody, the bed is undefiled, meaning your duty is to your spouse in your house, in your bedroom. Submit yourselves to one another. Because it says, but whoremongers and adulterers, God will judge. It is not for you. You're supposed to be the godly, righteous spouse that you're commanded to be. But if you cannot put up with what is going on, then you seek counsel. Don't just walk away. As I said earlier, when we were looking at 1 Corinthians, do not just walk away. Seek wise counsel who will tell you, well, this is the way it's supposed to be, and you have to do this, sister, or you have to do this, brother. Put away your wife, but you still have to honor them. Put away your husband, but you still have to honor him. Meaning, you can't go out there and have another man knowing you have a husband. That's ungodly, that's unrighteous. A brother can't go out there and have another sister knowing he has a wife. That's unrighteous, that's ungodly. All praises, that's unrighteous and ungodly. So where was I? Oh yeah, that's it on that. Yeah, so, as I said, this is going to be a little short class because, again, there are some other things we have to tend to, but for this purpose, I hope this class was edifying and gave you a little understanding of what a godly, righteous marriage is supposed to include and how we're supposed to live according to the laws of the Most High God concerning marriage. All praises. So thank you for those who tuned in, and hopefully we would get together tomorrow, Lord's willing, for our Bible study, where we'll go further into this topic, godly, righteous marriage. Until then, Shalom, Mosiah and Christ bless. Continue to enjoy your night, saints. Take care, family. All praises to the Most High.